All right, guys, for any of you guys interested in e-commerce, I'm going to give you guys the step-by-step, the way that I train people to do it right now.
And you don't mind saying that?
No, absolutely not, man. No. So the platform that I would recommend for you guys.
You're listening to On the Go Voice Podcast, the best generational podcast you'll ever tune into. Listen to the voices of this generation where we seek to identify values, stimulate discussions, and vocalize the community. Hey, welcome to On the Go Voice Podcast, guys. This is Charles Sabiaga, and this is part of the BIZ Talk series. And one thing I wanted to bring into the podcast was obviously the ideas of how different business industries operate and work, and just kind of getting an insight between it. I've had the pleasure of working and being friends with numerous people who own their own business and who have ventured into different industries of business as well. So I'm grateful to have them in my life and be able to connect with them. So now I'm bringing a friend of mine who I've been connected with for a while in the past. And one of the things that's gotten me really interested in when it comes down to the business world is being able to make money online. Right, and that's kind of the pleasure. Back then that wasn't something we were able to do, but even then, now it's still a growing industry, you know. And with that being said, you know, I have a friend here who has been involved in e-commerce himself, and we're gonna dive a little bit about his background and how he got involved. So welcome, Rigo Flores.
Yo, what's up?
How are you today, bro?
Dude, I'm chilling, man. You have a nice little setup, bro. I love it. Cool vibes, cool host here with the voice community.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate that. And I'm really excited for Rigo because he's also a podcaster, co-host of Millennial Mindset. And other than that, we're gonna jump into that a little bit later. But as of right now, for anybody listening, why don't you just introduce a little bit of background about yourself? Who are you, and what are you doing right now?
Hey guys, so like Charles says, my name is Rigo Flores. I am the eldest son of two immigrant people, and they did the best for me with the two hands that they had. They provided the best life that they could. And to sum up the last 10 years of my life, I would say that I am a nice kid that grew up, right?
Yeah.
And realized that the world is not kind to nice people. So that really shaped my life and the way that I perceive life and the way that I make pretty much the things that I make, the moves that I make today, right? So over the span of the last 3 years, like you mentioned, I've dived into e-commerce. That's where I decided to plant my flag, to use my skills in marketing and also my newfound love and passion for e-commerce. So that's pretty much where I stand today.
And the funny thing was, well, I wouldn't say funny, the interesting thing is that you were actually going to school in Northridge, right?
I was, man, yeah.
Business, but you dropped out.
Ooh.
Oh,
I hope my parents aren't listening.
Well, with that being said, what were you studying first of all?
I was studying finance and information systems.
Interesting. And what made you transition into like, hey, you know, I'm gonna drop out and then become like an entrepreneur? I mean, this was before you got into e-commerce, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It was actually a process, but to make a long story short, I started seeing things from an outside perspective. You know, when you're inside the bubble, it's really easy for you to kind of like fall for the magic tricks that's going on right now, the shiny paper that they hold right in front of you.
Right.
I just want to make it clear that I have absolutely nothing against education. My own girlfriend is an educator, and that's what she does. Like, I love education.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the thing is that I realized that everybody has their own individual goals. Everybody has something that they want to achieve, right? And my professors were, can I cuss?
Yeah, of course.
My professors were fucking intelligent. They were some of the brightest people that I know. But even as intelligent as they were, they didn't have much. And then my mentors, my mentors in finance that were already working in the fields that I was working in, they were loaded.
Right.
But they were miserable. And I started looking at it from an outside perspective, and I started kind of like really being self-aware and saying, hey, Rigo, what do you want to do? What can you see yourself doing this? And is this kind of where you want to lead your life? And I realized that it wasn't.
Right.
So cold turkey, I quit. Some people called it being a quitter. I called it following my passion, man, and just not lying to myself and being real with who I was. You know what I mean?
Right.
So long story short, that's pretty much why I decided to make the transition.
You know what? I think that's cool because even though for some people who decide to drop out, they might feel the need to kind of do it from a level of like, hey, I set myself up to this, but not really being aware. Because like I'm not gonna lie, I kind of decided to stick out through college because yes, it was a sense of like, yeah, cool. I reassured myself by saying, yeah, I'll accomplish something. But at the same time, at the back of my end was a voice saying, hey, if you don't do this, you won't make your parents proud. So on your end, you are self-aware enough to understand that I'm gonna fulfill what's most authentic for me. And I like the fact that you even mentioned like, hey, look, there's nothing wrong with the education, or nothing wrong, like you're not judging it or even like putting it down, but you decided to pursue what's correct in your way.
Yeah, man, and it wasn't an easy choice because my parents for 3 years afterwards, they gave me shit for it.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, back to back. They're like, Rigo, you can always go back. Rigo, you got 9 credits left. 12 credits left. Rigo, you have 12 credits left. Rigo, just go back. You're almost done. You're right there. Just give us that paper. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do it.
Right.
You can go back to college if you want to,
Right.
Because that's not the path that I wanted to take. So I feel that, man. I feel that like spiritually.
Yeah, totally. Oh, he's also a spiritual master, aware guy. Well, what obviously when you decided to drop out, you must have had some plan. Knowing, if you guys don't know, he's a numbers guy, loves numbers, right?
I like playing with the digits.
Yeah. So what was your plan when you decided to drop out at the time?
So I had finance is something that I've always liked. I like playing with the numbers. I've never been much of a math guy, but being a finance person, I like playing with numbers. Numbers are a beautiful thing, and when you can maneuver them and pretty much get any outcome that you want. So I was talking about numbers. I guess I kind of look at it like trends. There's trends in numbers, and I'm also really good at picking up trends, right? So I started seeing where is the world going right now. What services am I interested in that I like to do, that I also have a skill in? Can I offer to people? What kind of service can I provide?
Right.
So back then there was this little guy called Ty Lopez that some of you guys might have heard about in his Lamborghini on YouTube.
In my garage.
In his garage with his bookcase. Yeah. But there was this guy called Ty Lopez that released a marketing course, and I was an early adopter. I was one of like the first batch of people that were in his course, and since I was an early adopter, I was able to kind of pick up that trend early and learn marketing, social media marketing, and that was my plan, man. My plan is offer a service and make some money with it.
Okay.
That was as far as I thought, man. Okay. I've never really been much of a 10 steps ahead kind of guy. I was like, okay, cool. What can I do right now?
Yeah.
Like, and that was my plan, man.
Interesting.
Was it the smartest thing? Probably not. But I took a gamble and it paid off. Yeah.
But you never looked back,
I look back.
But I mean, I'm saying like you never decided. Like, you never decided. You know what, man? Maybe I'll let the back. Maybe have you actually ever decided? Maybe this is the wrong path.
Absolutely, man. I feel like anybody that's in their path in entrepreneurship, there's this meme, right? And it's a graph, and it says entrepreneurship. It shows two different graphs. One straight up, and one going up, then way down. Then back up, then way down. And anybody that denies that is full of shit, because that's exactly what it feels like. Some days you're killing the game, and other weeks you're like, damn, maybe I should get a job, or maybe I should go back to school, or maybe I should like listen to my parents.
I feel
so. No, I absolutely, man. I do have those moments. I had those moments, and for the rest of my life, statistically speaking, because I like numbers, I'm gonna have those moments.
Yeah. And the cool thing I like about you, especially with how you're coming out to me right now, your energy has changed a lot. You seem a lot more fulfilled and happy, just absolutely great gratitude. I mean, it's not that I've never seen that, but like I could just feel it from your sense of fulfillment, So when you said something?
No, I was gonna say I feel that too, man. I've seen that change over me, and I'm glad you noticed it, bro. Yeah, props to noticing, dude.
Yeah, I can.
That makes me feel good.
Good. I hope so. I hope I can make you feel that way. But with that being said, when you decided to switch into social media strategy, before you got e-commerce, what was that journey like before you even got into e-commerce? And then what was it like, or why did you transition into e-commerce?
So you're just to make sure that I understand the question. You want to know my transition from marketing to e-commerce?
Exactly.
So my transition from marketing to e-commerce was because I love marketing. Even right now, I'm a marketer. I will forever be a marketer. That's just the way my mind works, right? So I still do marketing, but I'm very low key about it. My real thing, my claim to fame, and where I stamp my flag is e-commerce, right? But they're in reality, they're one and the same thing, because both of those skills are commingled. But I'm just gonna call it e-commerce, right? My transition in e-commerce came with, I started an agency, and as a salesperson, I also have some sales skills. We ended up getting pretty decent clients. Our best client that we got was Honda, and we ended up securing that deal thanks to my brother, which was my business partner at the time.
Oh, okay.
And we ended up securing that deal. We completely failed it.
Oh.
We did quality work based on our current skills, but it was because of I jumped cold turkey into marketing, like I told you. I learned how to do the digital side of it, but I didn't really know how to manage the business side of it, which my business skills were very lacking. I was very young when I started it.
Okay.
And because of that, I ended up failing over time, and I couldn't give my deliverables. So I teamed up with another company. We did great. And then I left that company for personal reasons. And then I was in a point in marketing where I knew my skills in the marketing aspect were good, but not in the business side. So I needed to take a step back, and I was like, okay, cool, I'm taking a step back. What can I do with the current skill set that I have and the current connections that I have?
Right.
Well, one of my buddies that I went to high school with that dropped out of the face of the earth when he was 16 years old.
Interesting.
Yeah, he dropped out of the face of the earth. No, his parents kicked him out. None of us knew what the hell was going on. He reappeared, and he had an RA, and we're like, the fuck you got
an RA?
Yeah, he had an RA, an Audi RA. Back in 2013, no, it was 11, 12. It was back in 2012, and we're like,
that's before I even got introduced to entrepreneurship.
Yeah, like he did. That's when he disappeared, and he came back and he had it, and we're like, how'd you get that, bro? And he was like, oh, e-commerce. And back then he didn't say e-commerce, he said eBay. He said eBay drop shipping, which is in the grand scheme of things, it's part of e-commerce, right? And I was like, okay, cool, teach me. He's like, okay, pay me.
Did you pay him?
Absolutely, bro. Dude, if somebody shows you how to make money, dude, and they're making it work, like, you best believe I'm gonna pay you, man. So I paid him, man. He showed me how to maneuver the system, and that was my entry, man. I saw somebody doing great. I approached them, and that was my entry to the world of e-commerce.
So this wasn't back in 2012, or
no, that's when he disappeared.
Oh, okay. So then you met him, what, 20, or you reconnected with him back in 2018?
18? No, it was 2017.
Okay, 2017. Yeah. Cool. So what was your first venture? Actually, you know what? Just for safe assurance, just in case for anybody listening that don't exactly know what e-commerce is exactly. Do you want to elaborate on it?
Yes.
You're a lot more.
All right, guys. Questions for you guys right here. So, e-commerce is commerce with E in the front, and that's literally the process. Like, that's a joke, by the way. That's pretty much what it is. But e-commerce is such a broad thing. I'm gonna simplify it to what I do. What I do, it's drop shipping. It's the process of selling products online. Any kind of product from any kind of company, you have access to those products if you build a relationship with that supplier, and then you're able to sell them on your own platforms online. That is e-commerce, the movement of products online.
Okay. So with that being said, when you first decided to learn and take on this kind of adventure with your old friend, what was your first journey like? Or, I mean, what was your first product? I mean, I'm thinking about it, right?
My first product, bro. Ooh. I can't remember what my first product was, but the better story is my first sale.
Okay.
So you list a certain amount of products, right? And then you wait for the sales to come in. So the first sale that I ever made was a food scale. You know, like one of those food scales where you measure your protein powder, you measure macros, exactly macros, like one of those scales, right? It was an Ozark scale. That was my first sale. I listed it, and it was the first $10 that I ever generated on e-commerce. Yeah, so it's funny. That was the first product I ever listed, and the funny thing about it is also, I don't know if it was beginner's luck, it was my most sold product in like the whole entire history of the store, my first store. It was my most sold product, and it was first sold product, most sold product, and the product that sold the longest. So almost the very last day of my e-commerce store, that product was selling. Okay. Even when I wasn't optimizing it anymore. So yeah, man, it was a gray 6-inch, 8-inch Ozark scale, 12-inch.
Okay.
It was an 8 because I had a bunch of scales. Bro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it was a gray 12. Man, I can't remember. It was like 12-inch Ozark scale.
Where were you getting the supplier from?
My supplier was actually Amazon. Exactly, man.
So you just look for cheaper scale and then flipped it on eBay, basically.
That's the beauty of drop shipping. I had an account with Amazon, right? So all I was doing is grabbing that product from Amazon, optimizing it, doing the SEO on it, listing it on eBay, and selling it for a profit.
Interesting.
So let's say on Amazon I got it for $12. On eBay I would list it for $25 after the cost of goods sold, after the marketing, after the SEO, after the fees. I would just keep the profit. Okay. Which the first one was $10.
And you mentioned SEO. What role did that do instead of, because I know when you put on eBay, right? Like you're just listing as a category. What role, or how does SEO play a role in that?
So there's many different forms of SEO, but to simplify it, the way it works on eBay is keywords, right? So the certain way you put certain keywords, the way you would title your pictures, the way you would the way you would.
That was optimization.
Exactly, that was the way I would optimize them.
Optimization. So for anybody who that's actually something I'm looking into as well. But just an interesting thing, because like it's your way of basically maneuvering how it's found online.
Exactly, man.
Without paying anything. Am I right? Or you could probably pay.
I mean, in reality, you're still paying because you gotta buy the software, right? You gotta invest in the software that allows you to do the research in the back end that shows you what keywords people are looking for. And after you do those keywords, and you just strategically place it in text copy, and then let the sales come in.
Interesting. Okay. Well, what was your first emotion when you started to realize that this thing actually worked?
Bro, it's fucking sick, bro. Yeah, so okay, the cool thing about eBay, right? That was the first platform I ever started on. The cool thing about eBay is that whenever you made a sale, all you heard was cha-ching.
Oh, that sounds nice.
So I would always put my phone with the volume up, and I would just wait for the sales to come in, and I would just be chilling, doing my thing, and I would hear a cha-ching, cha-ching. It's the best feeling ever.
Okay. So from then on, did you decide to expand from that venture, or how did you decide to move forward with it?
When I was on eBay, I opened more stores. I started thinking, I was okay, cool. I can scale one store to a certain amount, right? So if I'm scaling one store to a certain amount, it would make sense if I open another one.
Okay.
And then another one. And another one.
Because then all you gotta do is check up on it and see what you can optimize. Right?
Exactly. And then at that point, what I would do is I would just train assistants. I would hire assistants. Virtual assistants. Yeah, I would hire a virtual assistant, teach them how to manage my store, how to fulfill the sales, and I would be able to keep doing the research as they kept listing my products.
Right. So with that being said, I know you mentioned the word store a lot. Does it take a lot to actually set up a store, or do you just make an account on eBay and decide to say, hey, or Amazon, wherever?
It's gotten a little bit more difficult over time. You can technically still just sign up and make it, but if you really want to get rewarded with sales, you have to go about it the right way. You get a business license, like whether it's an LLC or sole proprietorship. You connect it online and go through the process correctly. Because let's say legitimize yourself. Because at the end of the day, an online business is a very legitimate, real business. Just like Facebook, it's a real business. When you have a store online, in the eyes of the eyes of the law, you are a storefront. So you have to legitimize yourself. So as long as you take those things out of the way, you're set. And if you're just gonna do it as a hobby and you're gonna make under $20,000 in sales, if you don't expect to do more than that, then you don't have to do any of that.
Interesting.
You can just start your store up.
Okay, because obviously then your idea of like, let's talk about this in numbers then. This is your subject, right? On average, let's say a monthly from that time on, how much were you like producing or growing up to?
I'm not following that
like
question.
How was your production and revenue looking like at the time? Like how much money were you pulling in and also reproducing back?
Back when I started? My first month in e-commerce, I think I did 3 sales.
3 sales?
I think I did about 3-4 sales. Yeah, I did about 3 to 4 sales. So I think I made about a month. Okay. Yeah, a month. I had no idea what I was doing, bro.
Okay.
I had no idea what I was doing, so I think I did about $125 that month, and I was legit, bro. I was like, oh my god, dude, I made $125 online. I was so happy, dude. I was so happy, and from there, I was like, okay, cool. that means if I list more products, I'm gonna make more sales. So I started listing more products, and started getting more suppliers, and the sales started scaling. You know, they got to 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000. They just kept going up and up. So but my initial sale, my first month was like, I think like $120.
Okay. But
not profit, it was revenue.
Okay, yeah, sure. But then at that time, you started to see that when you could scale this thing, you realized you could create a business out of it.
Yeah, man. It was when I hit 3,000 profit the first month. Not the first month, but the first time I hit $3,000 profit.
Interesting.
When I was like, holy shit, I can scale this. I can actually scale this and make a business out of this.
Yeah.
So that's when I really started taking it seriously. It was kind of like a hobby for me on the side because I didn't really see the potential in it.
Okay. Were you doing something else before?
Yeah, I was doing marketing.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I was doing marketing, and I still had my clients. I was still doing their social medias, but it was like when I started seeing, I was like, wow, like this is actually like
doable.
Paying me. I list one product, and if I do it right, I keep making sales month after month and day after day. I was like, I want to approach it. I want to do more of it. So that's got like to tie back with your previous question, that's where the transition started happening.
Okay. Because the funny thing is, I've had a couple people that have also told me like, hey, you should start a store. Just like, fuck,
you should, bro.
But yeah, it's definitely on my mind now, especially, you know, with where it's grown. And you've even introduced me to someone who have allowed me access to kind of generate some income from that without really doing anything, which is dope as hell. So I'm thinking to myself, man, maybe this e-commerce thing is a lot bigger than this, even though I've heard of it. Because I think on my end, which is like, oh, I don't think I'd be able to run an online store or be able to check on it. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, for anybody who is considering it, what would your first, I wouldn't even say advice, because, you know, obviously you want advice, but like your thoughts on it for anybody starting?
Do it.
Okay, but let's talk about like steps. You know,
okay.
What would you recommend?
All right, guys. For any of you guys interested in e-commerce, I'm gonna give you guys the step-by-step, the way that I train people to do it right now.
And you don't mind saying it?
No, absolutely not, man. No. So the platform that I would recommend for you guys would be eBay to begin with. The reason I say eBay, you can always jump on Amazon, you can always jump on Walmart, you can always jump on all these bigger platforms, right? But the problem if you jump on these bigger platforms is these guys, they're very strict. Their account, it's exactly as you would have a brick and mortar store, and it can be a cash cow for you. But if you fuck it up, you're kicked out. And once you get kicked out, it's really hard to get back in. So learn the basics first and generate your income and your revenue on eBay, right? The thing you have to do is obviously have a business email, right? Just use an email that's not your personal email. You got to keep everything separate. Get an email account, go on eBay, plug it in. You don't need a business account. You don't need a business license. You don't need any of that right off the bat. All you have to do is just open it because you're just starting off. Until you get to 20,000 in sales, that's when you should start considering maybe leveling up and getting all these business licenses, but that might take you a while. So get your email, open up an account, get your email, that same email, open up a PayPal, because PayPal is the main integrated platform that they use to receive payments. Then you're gonna link your eBay and your PayPal, right? Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna find a supplier. The suppliers that I recommend are right now, you can use to make it as easy for you guys as possible. They've changed a few. So the one I recommend right now is Bye Bye Baby. If you guys want to get into the baby niche and you guys want to sell some baby products, which is a really hot thing, like it's a full what do they call it? Evergreen. It's an evergreen product. Okay. You guys can go to Bye Bye Baby. You can go to Best Buy. You guys can use even Home Depot. These 3 different platforms allow you to pretty much sell their products online, right? You grab those products, do the research, see what products are actually selling. The way you do this research is you use a platform called Seek Analytics. This is a really big gem for you guys right now. A lot of you guys that are
listening, guys.
Yeah, this is a really big gem. A lot of people don't know about this platform, but that was the platform that I use, and that's the platform that I continued using up until the point where I made the transition over. And it's still a really hot platform. So you use Seek Analytics and start doing the research for the products that you're selling. You grab what Seek Analytics does is you get, let's say you find Charles Creates store. Each item is connected to a store. You type in, you go to Bye Bye Baby, type in, let's say they have a product on Bye Bye Baby called Baby Shower, Shower Orange orange cradle or something like that, whatever it is.
Right.
You grab that one, you plug it into eBay, it'll show you all the people that are listing that product. What that means is all the people that are listing that product are also using Bye Bye Baby as a supplier. What you do is you pick one of those people, you grab their username, plug it into Seek Analytics. What Seek Analytics is going to do is going to show you what are their best-selling items. As soon as you see their best-selling items, now you have what?
You have a list of like the trending products.
Their trending products, their best-selling products that you can undercut them. You also have the SEO that they did for them, and all you have to do is just slightly improve it, beat them on price, and you have a very high chance of making that sale. Once you make that sale, obviously the sale gets transferred to eBay, right? Excuse me, PayPal. PayPal has that money waiting for you. What you do is now you use that money to buy the product from Bye Bye Baby and ship it to the customer with the information that eBay gave you.
Wow.
There we go. Keep the profit.
Wow. So you just like literally connected the dots.
Exactly. Rinse and repeat. That's a very, very simple way of putting it, but in the grand scheme of things, that's pretty much how it works.
Yeah.
You rinse and repeat. Do it with more products. Remove the products that are not performing well. Bring in new products that are likely to perform well if you do the research for it, like I mentioned for you guys. Rinse and repeat, make some sales, collect some revenue, and reinvest into either buying inventory or just use it for yourself.
Okay. Interesting. No, thanks for sharing that. That's actually a really insightful experience for you to share that, especially for anybody getting involved. And I'm sure right now with the e-commerce going as well, it has its own different ins and outs as well. And you also consult for people on how to grow their brands as well, right?
Absolutely.
Because you started an agency. So you want to talk a little about that?
Yeah, so so I've been in the e-commerce game for a while, right? And it was a progression, but pretty much what I was trying to get up to, I was trying to get proficient in the areas of e-commerce that I was going to allow me to start my own agency.
Right.
Because the only way to really see what's working or what problems need to be solved is to be in it and experiencing those problems myself.
Of course.
So I started seeing what problems people were having, what problems they needed solving. And now that I have been in the game long enough, I know how to solve those problems. So now I'm starting my agency called Ecommerce Prince.
Okay.
And I am providing that service, right? So for the people that want to get involved in e-commerce, right, and don't necessarily have the skills, they don't have the time, because time is a big factor.
Of course.
For a lot of people, right? Well, guess what? I can manage your store. I can run your store. You don't touch anything. You don't touch anything whatsoever. We communicate from time to time to show you what your store is doing. You have 100% access to your store. But the thing is, I'm managing it and you keep the profits. And the other service that I'm offering is there's people that already have established brands, right? There's people that have brands, they have cosmetic brands, they have supplement brands, they have any kind of brand. And let's say even a Monster brand, right? They have, I'm not sure if that's a Monster.
The Rain.
Rain, let's say they have Rain, right?
It is their product actually.
So let's say they have Rain and they do a lot of brick and mortar sales, but they don't necessarily take advantage of the online platform. So guess what? I can get you set up with a multi-market platform where we're gonna be able to move your product online at a percentage of your sales.
Interesting.
Which is all profit for you, because otherwise you wouldn't even be moving it
exactly
online.
And the cool thing is you're saving time.
Exactly.
For people all the energy.
Exactly.
We're gonna take a quick little break so I can reset a couple of things. Oh, people are joining in. All right, guys. So Rigo just finished up basically setting a structure of how he gave you guys basic guidelines for setting up your own e-commerce store if you decided to go into it. And he also does consultation and as well as managing your store. So definitely hit them up. We'll have his link below and also in the video. But other than that, let's talk about like what it takes to actually build this, right? Like you as an entrepreneur, e-commerce, and also a marketer. What do you think it takes for people to be able to succeed in this business? Because obviously not everybody lasts.
To be able to succeed in e-commerce? To be able to succeed in e-commerce, bro, you just got to be consistent. And that applies to pretty much every aspect of business, right? Because there's a learning curve, right? Absolutely. E-commerce is more of a new thing that came in the last, I would say about 10 years, right? That's when people really started making the transition online. The people that didn't make that transition, that didn't stay consistent with it, failed. Toys R Us is gone. Yeah. Fry's Electronics is soon to be gone.
Oh yeah,
for all the local people that live here.
They're going on sales.
Yeah, because guess what? The e-commerce platform sucks. Like you can't find anything online, and that was a problem that I saw 8 years ago when I was trying to get my computer from them. Their platform sucked. So the way to succeed in e-commerce and just stay consistent and actually be engaged with it, because the trends are always changing, but and the platforms are always changing. But the thing is, as long as you stay up to date on those trends, you're able to just evolve with the platform
Adapt
as well.
with it, right?
Adapt to the platform, yeah. When I started e-commerce, my main platform was Amazon. I can no longer drop ship from Amazon. Well, guess what? There's other platforms that I can go with. A lot of people that didn't adapt, they got kicked out. All the people that I started e-commerce with, I'm the last one.
Right.
They couldn't adapt. They left.
Well, how come you couldn't go into Amazon?
The what?
How come you can't market out on Amazon?
Amazon saw it was a gap in the market, right? So when Amazon saw that people were taking advantage of that gap in the market, they closed the gap.
Oh, interesting. All right, that's cool. Well, it's dope that you've been in here for a long game, and I could definitely see a lot of things coming up for you, right? And I know you have a couple of other ventures on the side, including Millennial Mindset. Do you want to talk a little about that too?
Inside the Millennial Mindset. Yeah, I'm the co-host of Inside the Millennial Mindset, right? Where we pretty much interview top performing millennials and record the conversation for everyone to hear. So, man, what can I say about it, man? It's a podcast that we started because we love connecting with people. We love interacting with top performers just like us. We always felt that we were missing that camaraderie between people. A lot of the times when we wanted to meet with top performing individuals, we didn't really know where to connect with them.
Right.
We were going somewhere else outside of our own community. So we started Inside the Millennial Mindset in order to really find who were the top performers in our community and then just create a relationship with them and really see what it is that jives them, because I'm inspired by people that are inspired. You know?
Exactly. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And yeah, man, I actually totally support that message too. But with that being said, you already talked about your agency. I'm actually curious, going back into e-commerce, what would you say have been one of the biggest challenges, coming up across and building your own stores?
Capital. It's capital, man. It's money. Because whenever you're trying to scale, you can only scale based on the amount of capital that you have available to you, right? Let's say you're doing the research. Once I'm no longer talking about drop shipping. Drop shipping is when you drop ship other products. But let's say you've made it to the point where you want to start your own brands, where you want to maneuver with your own private label brands, wholesale your own products, right? Well, guess what? I have a relationship with Hasbro. I have a partnership with a Hasbro distributor. I had to you found a good product. It has potential sales. But the minimum, they call it the MOQ, minimum order quantity for that product is $15,000, $20,000, right? In order to be able to buy in. If you don't have the capital available to it, how are you going to expand your store? So one of the biggest products is that I've been facing, or that I was facing, is capital. Sometimes you find these great products, you build these great relationships, but if you don't have 30, 40, 50,000 to drop in, then that's a huge problem. So the way that I've been able to fix that is by building relationships with other people that are on my same mission. I say, hey, Charles, I know you're an investor. I know you have money and I know you want to get invested into this. Well, guess what? I found this product. I run the numbers for them. This is the potential profit. This is the amount of time it's going to take us to sell it. This is your buy-in. Are you down? Yes or no? Yes? Cool. No? No. So the problem has and forever will be capital.
Interesting.
Because there's always cool products coming out, and if you have the capital to invest in it, great. If you don't, you miss out on that opportunity.
That's awesome. That's interesting. Thanks for sharing that. I think when I think of e-commerce, I never thought about the problem it would take when you actually start that store and having that access. I always thought it was just like the running the business part. And on that end, what's it like running, or what's a daily, weekly work like for you running these stores? And I know you have a couple of other ventures as well, right? In
the beginning, the normal day for e-com, man, it's in the beginning when I was doing drop shipping, when I was pretty much starting in, it included a lot of just me sitting in my computer doing product research, because the better your product research is, obviously the better your returns are going to be. So it was a minimum of 5 hours a day doing product research, and then on top of that you have to fulfill the products. A sale comes in, fill it in, and then you got to ship it, fill it in, ship it. It was like really monotonous work. Over a period of time, which is where I am now, I now have, I'm not going to say a fleet, but I have virtual assistants, which are my assistants. They do the fulfillment for me, they do the product for me, and they do the some of the research for me for certain products, and they do the fulfillment and the customer service. My main thing is handling the suppliers, handling the relationship building, and overseeing them to make sure they're actually doing the work and they're not losing me money.
Okay.
Pretty much like, just like a maintenance right now. Right now, it's a lot of maintenance because my passion, of course, is in building rather than actual building the business rather than working in the business.
Okay, that's interesting. That's cool that you shared that a little bit about that too. I'm sure I could totally see more in the aspect of just building a relationship and trying to keep that rather than just like you running that. It's good that you're outsourcing it. But okay, so I think we're pretty much ending with the kind of questions I have, unless you have something you want to bring up to the topic. Do you?
Not necessarily, man.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
I'm rolling with the vibes right now.
Oh, okay, cool. well, we're gonna transition to this. Okay, so it's a little question. All right, if there was one thing that you can tell your younger self, what would it be?
Chill the fuck out.
Why?
This is no longer stemming from business. This is just me like being able to audit myself and the kind of person that I was, right? I wasted a lot of time in my life going to school because I was not chilled out, dude. I was trying to impress everybody and anybody. I was a tryhard. Like my brother likes to call it, I was a tryhard. And my problem was that I didn't chill out, bro. I didn't let myself really enjoy the process. I was just like, no, let's go to the end goal.
All right, guys. Sorry, some scammer tried to call me. But what were we saying again, bro?
So my advice to myself would be chill the fuck out, man. Chill the fuck out and allow yourself to actually relax. And the reason I say that is because when you're actually in a calm state of mind, when you actually allow yourself to be in that state of zen, you're able to really analyze your perspective and self-analyze yourself in order to make proper moves. Because the way to really make progress is by not making as many mistakes. People have really romanticized the idea of, I want to learn from the struggle, I want to learn from the mistake. But guess what, man? If I'm gonna use you as an example, if Charles fucked up, I don't want to do that. Let me learn from his mistake, because the more you lose, you have to eventually make it up, bro.
Yeah, it's true.
And if you can avoid making those mistakes, then you can just you don't have to take as much time trying to fix it.
Right.
And I made a lot of mistakes by not chilling out, by constantly being serious, taking it too seriously, and not really being able to analyze the perspective from an outside and be like, like, you know what, like, this is the way it works.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, bro. I think when I first met you, I did perceive you to be a more serious guy.
I was like, try hard, bro.
That's what I said when I seen you now and connecting with you again. I see the shift in energy.
It's an evolution, bro.
Yeah.
I'm a butterfly that has blossomed.
Cool. All right, cool. So, what is there anything else that for anybody listening that, or especially with my mindset as well? Anybody, what can we look forward from you?
So from me, I'm not too active on social media as of right now because I've been a little bit busy building on my agency.
Right.
But what you guys can be looking forward from me right now, and something that I've been constantly building and will be building, is Inside the Millennial Mindset, which is my podcast with my co-host Rigo J, Mr. Rigo J, for you guys that know him.
I'm actually going to have him next month as well.
Yeah, we have some interesting plans, some interesting guests coming along for Inside the Millennial Mindset, and it's going to be there. It's gonna be it's one of my platforms where I'm the most active and where we're both most active. So that we have that coming, and then of course for all you guys that are interested in e-commerce but don't necessarily know where to start, Ecom Prince is gonna be launching pretty soon. Okay. So I'm excited to bring that to you guys as well.
That's awesome. Cool, man. I'll drop the link on the video as well, like what I always do. Other than that, for anybody listening, what would you like to tell, or if you have any last words?
Absolutely. All right, guys. So, coronavirus is a very real thing right now, and if I see you guys in the street and you guys try to shake my hand, I am very politely gonna give you a little a little elbow rub. So don't shake my hand. But I'm just kidding. Wash your hands. Make sure that you use antibacterial soap. 20 seconds under lukewarm water. Just make sure you guys are clean, guys. It's a thing. That's the thing I want to leave you guys with right now.
Yeah. Okay. Which brings me to a question: being in e-commerce.
That's a great question. That's a great
coronavirus question. Like, is it even fucking with it? Like, what?
It is.
Like,
absolutely.
What's the deal with it,
bro? Okay, dude. That's the question I've been waiting, bro. Okay.
I'm sorry, I haven't been.
Okay, so
a rough day.
Yes, it absolutely has messed with the flow of business. What happened was a lot of my orders haven't even been delivered, and I made them in early February, right? And the problem was that a lot of the factories, I ended up getting, I think it was February 12th to 14th. I can't remember when I got the message from one of my distributors, but I got a message from one of my distributors, and they said, hey, our factories are out of business until further notice, and we are expected to be back in 3 weeks. Well, the 3-week mark came, they still weren't back. The 4-week mark came, they weren't back, and now they're going back slowly, but the orders are trickling in very slowly because not everybody is back at work yet.
Right.
So the flow has definitely been interrupted, but that was a blessing in disguise, because it made us realize, it made a lot of us realize that we were too dependent on one specific system, and we needed to start diversifying and working with other countries, maybe aside from China, Canada, Mexico, you know?
Resourceful, man. Too.
So it made us realize that, yo, you can't put all your eggs in one basket. We were so comfortable because it's the cheapest, most affordable way. But guess what? When something like this happens, it just opens your eyes, man.
Because then
that's a great question, dude.
Because I'm thinking at the end of the day, then you realize what really matters is the end consumer who can buy your brands. Right?
At the end of the day, all that matters is not the money, is not the product. None of this matters, bro. The matters is that your customers are happy. The happier your customers are, the more you can serve them, even at the cost of your own expense sometime, the better off you're going to be in this game. The end consumer always wins.
Nice. I love that, man. Thanks for sharing that. Well, that's actually an interesting insight, you know, to...
It's a great question.
Yeah, because I know that the market has been affected heavily, and even then with the oil gas price recently,
there's no toilet paper in the stores right now. I just got a call earlier today. There's hardly any water, bro. Like, you know, water bottles. Yeah, no, like it's affected, bro. It's affecting all industry.
Yeah, that's crazy as hell. You know, maybe I would save that for a call. Or actually, I don't know. Anyways, for anybody listening, where can people find you?
So you guys can find me on Instagram, rigo.flow, on Facebook, Rigo Flores, or The Perfect Marketer, which is my old tag when I used to be all about marketing. If you guys want to find my podcast, it's Millennial Mindset with one N. On all podcast platforms inside the Millennial Mindset.
Nice. Cool.
Or you guys can hit up Charles and he'll connect you guys with me.
Sounds good, man. Well, thanks for being on. Appreciate you for sharing some of your
Thanks for having me on, man.
Absolutely, brother. Maybe we'll have you back on again one day.
Sure.
But other than that, cool. All right, guys. Thanks for listening to the Biz Talk series. Hope you enjoyed it. If you like it, please continue to support the podcast and also follow my guys so you can get a little more insights on that aspect. All right, guys. Have a great night.